Inside every living cell, inside every single breath you take, there's a tiny, elegant code that carries the secret of life itself. We call it DNA. And behind one of the greatest discoveries in human history stood a woman whose name was almost erased. Her name was Rosalind Franklin. Rosalind was born in 1920 in London, England, into a well-educated family that valued knowledge, discipline, and responsibility. From a very early age, it was clear she was different. While other children played games, Rosalind asked questions. Endless questions. She wanted to know how things worked, why they worked, and what was hidden just beneath the surface. She loved numbers, she loved logic, and she felt a powerful pull toward science long before she could even explain why. At school, her teachers quickly noticed her exceptionally sharp mind. But the world around her wasn't ready to imagine a girl as a scientist. It was a time when expectations were rigid. One of her teachers even told her bluntly, "Science is not a suitable career for women." Rosalind said nothing in that moment. But inside, a quiet, unshakable decision was made. She would prove them wrong. Driven by this inner fire, Rosalind entered Cambridge University, one of the most prestigious institutions in the world, to study chemistry and physics. But even there, the path wasn't easy. In those days, women were still treated as outsiders in the halls of science. Their voices were often ignored. Their work was frequently dismissed. But Rosalind didn't let that stop her. She simply worked harder than anyone else. She studied late into the night, fueled by coffee and determination. She trusted facts more than opinions, data more than gossip. She wasn't looking for attention. She was looking for accuracy. After graduating, she moved to France. There, in a government lab in Paris, she finally found something that had been rare for her back home: respect. Her colleagues saw her not as a woman in a man's world, but as a brilliant scientist. In France, she mastered a powerful and complex technique called X-ray diffraction. Think of it as a way to take a picture of things that are too small to see, even with the most powerful microscopes. It allowed scientists to map the invisible structure of molecules. Rosalind was exceptionally good at it. She was precise, patient, and demanding of herself. She believed that science must be done slowly and correctly, no shortcuts, no guesses, only evidence. In the early 1950s, Rosalind returned to London to work at King's College. The scientific community was buzzing. A global race was on to uncover the structure of DNA, the molecule of life. The atmosphere was incredibly tense, competitive, and for Rosalind, it was a step backward. She was not treated as an equal. Some of her colleagues, particularly a researcher named Maurice Wilkins, found her difficult. Not because she lacked skill, her talent was obvious, but because she was direct, and she refused to accept sloppy science from anyone. Their relationship quickly became strained. Misunderstandings grew, and a cold silence replaced what should have been a collaborative partnership. Despite the difficult environment, Rosalind focused on her work. Day after day, night after night, she was in the lab, meticulously studying DNA fibers using her X-ray diffraction equipment. She adjusted the angles by fractions of a degree. She refined her calculations over and over. She waited patiently for the data to give her a clear, undeniable answer. And then, one day in 1952, it happened. A single image emerged from her work, a photograph that would change everything. It was an extra picture, later known simply as Photo 51. In that grainy, cross-shaped pattern, Rosalind saw the unmistakable shape of DNA, a double helix. The secret was right there. She saw it. She understood its profound meaning. But she was a cautious, methodical scientist. She wanted more proof, more data, absolute certainty. To her, science wasn't a race to be first. It was a mission to be right. But while Rosalind worked quietly and carefully, something happened behind her back. Unbeknownst to her, and without her permission, her colleague Maurice Wilkins showed Photo 51 to two other scientists from a different university, a young American named James Watson and an Englishman named Francis Crick. When Watson and Crick saw the image, everything clicked into place for them. All the scattered pieces of the puzzle they'd been struggling with suddenly made sense. The mystery unraveled almost instantly. Using Rosalind's data as their guide, they quickly built their now famous model of the DNA double helix. In their groundbreaking paper, her name was barely mentioned. She wasn't consulted. She wasn't credited as a key contributor. She was never invited to be a. All the while, Rosalind continued working in the same building, completely unaware that the incredible secret she had painstakingly uncovered was already being claimed by others. A few years later, Rosalind began to feel unwell. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, an illness that was very likely linked to her years of unprotected exposure to X-rays in the lab. Even while battling the disease, even in pain, she kept working. She published more important research and mentored younger scientists, always pushing the boundaries of knowledge. In 1958, at the tragically young age of 37, Rosalind Franklin passed away. She never knew the full extent of how her work had been used. She never knew that the discovery she had made would soon be celebrated across the entire world, without her name attached to it. In 1962, James Watson, Francis Crick, and Maurice Wilkins received the Nobel Prize in Medicine for discovering the structure of DNA. In the speeches, in the articles, in the history books that were first written, Rosalind Franklin was not mentioned. The Nobel Prize is not awarded posthumously, so she could not have received it then. But history began to ask a difficult, uncomfortable question. Could this discovery have ever happened without her? Today, the answer from the scientific community is a clear and resounding no. Rosalind Franklin did not seek fame. She didn't chase recognition or awards. She chased truth. And although history was slow to acknowledge her role, science eventually corrected the record. Her name is now taught in schools. Her image hangs in laboratories around the globe. Her story is told as a powerful reminder that brilliance can be ignored, that credit can be stolen, but in the end, truth always survives. She saw the secret of life. She paid the ultimate price. And though the world looked away for a time, Rosalind Franklin changed it forever. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as powerful as I did, please like this video and subscribe for more stories of the hidden figures who shaped our world.